Welcome to Winephabet Street, Season 2, Episode 21. U is for Ugni Blanc. This is a really special grape, and it is the grape that is used in cognac. Enjoy.
Welcome to Uncork Your Mind, where we take the intimidation out of wine with your host, Debbie Giaquindo, the Hudson Valley wine goddess.
Hey, everybody. Hi. Welcome to Winephabet Street. We are day drinking today because we have a very special guest with us. Today we are up to the letter U, and it is for Ugni Blanc. And we have Eric Forget and Julien Boteau. I think I said that sort of close.
Better than I could.
From Hein Cognac. So we are so excited to have Hein sponsor this episode today and talk about Ugni Blanc and cognac. We're going to be learning about how to drink cognac, what cognac is, and why it is so special. So I am your co-host, Lori. I am a UC Davis winemaking graduate, WSET Level 2 graduate, a champagne specialist, and a sommelier service certified. And I am thrilled to be here and be your co-host for this educational program. And my co-host is Debbie.
I'm Debbie Giaquindo. I'm a certified specialist of wine and a wine location specialist in port and champagne. I'm author of the book, Tapping the Hudson Valley, Day Trips and Weekend Itineraries, visiting the Hudson Valley area. And I'm a restaurant owner in Trio, North Wildwood, in North Wildwood, New Jersey. And before we even get started, I have to apologize. I've had a family emergency, so I'm going to have to duck probably about 20 minutes in. But I leave you in good hands.
Hey. And our special guests are Eric and Julien. So please, Eric and Julien, give us a little bit story about you two.
So I could go first. So Eric Forget. I am the cellar master of the Hein Cognac House. I joined the company in '99, so roughly 20 years ago. I previously worked in the cognac industry in different other houses. And then I am in charge of the product and everything you could appreciate and love.
Thank you. And Julien?
I spent my youth in Touraine, Chinon, where I was able to develop my passion for the richness of the wine region. In addition, my background were wine growers in the Charente region, so I naturally studied vine and wine in Tours and later in Dijon. What internships in prestigious estate in Burgundy or the Medoc. Joined Chateau Margaux as a vineyards manager in 2001, where I spent almost 20 years working before having the choice and joining the Golden Island.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm so excited to be able to have both people where we can see it from the vineyard to the bottle and get the whole story in between. So, Deb, should we do the video? Get ready for the video?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Welcome to Winephabet Street, where the letter of the day is U, and it is Ugni Blanc, and we are being sponsored by Hein Cognac. So welcome. So Deb, why don't you get us started?
Okay, we'll go dive right into the interview here. Welcome. Eric, you began working at Hein in 1999. That's a long time ago. What were you doing prior to that time?
Before to join Hein, I worked in another small company called Hennessy.
Small company.
Small company.
Yes, I was in charge of the supply for wine, for distillation, for all the products, and also the relationship between the house and the suppliers. And in '99 I joined Hein, but at that time Hein was a daughter company of Hennessy. The reason why.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. Okay. All right. And so were you always into cognac? Did you grow up drinking, learning about cognac and learning about it?
Okay, just a couple of words about my background. So I am a native from the Cognac region. I born in Angoulême, very, very, very near, 30 kilometers from Jarnac or Cognac. Then I follow, and I am enologist graduate from Champagne. I have heard that some are specialists about the Champagne, so I learned in Champagne. So I love also the bubbles anyway, of course. And I was obliged to do my military service at that time. I did it in Germany, and previously my goal was to join Australia to run a winery there. But the job was over when I finished my military service, and I get an offer to come here back in the Cognac area. Is the reason why I started in the Cognac. So I only work in the Cognac as a professional after my studies, of course, definitely.
Wow. And Julian, what about you? Have you always wanted to be in the vineyards and in the industry?
In Chateau Margaux.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Deb.
Yes, just a word to introduce about Julien. Julien previously to join Hein company, Hein House, was in charge of the vineyards of Chateau Margaux. So everybody knows.
Oh, wow.
Very high.
Nice. Yeah.
Absolutely. And now, Eric, you did mention that you were in the service and you were a lieutenant colonel. So it's been quoted that you love the mentality where you know that some things are allowed and some things are forbidden, and you like order. So how does that play into being a cellar master at Cognac?
Yes, it's a good question. I believe it's helped a lot because, of course, everybody knows that in the army, everything is more or less not all the time strict, but anyway, there are limits, and of course you have orders. Some things are allowed, but that is very important. Is how you have to get the target. How you have to run your way, and I believe in a company more or less we do the same. Everybody speaks about project running in all the companies, all the industries. But in fact, you have to know that firstly, they are the soldier. They are more or less established this running business. So the link is very easy to understand. But I love the mentality because, of course, not everything is pre-established. But anyway, you have all the time to understand and to appreciate the situation. To make or to take the right decision. That is very important. And sometimes if there is a problem in a very, very short time. So reaction should be very, 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 very quick. And in the army, it's something you learn all the time because you're under pressure from all the day long.
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of pressure.
and you learn how to deal with it.
Yeah.
But what happens? So how does that order mindset fit when what Mother Nature comes in and changes things? I don't know if that's more for Julian or Eric, but Mother Nature plays a big role in the life of a cognac house.
But the nature, no.
Right.
Yes, yes. You speak about the climate change or about in general?
Just in general, you might want to, you're planning your harvest to be picked at a certain time, and then Mother Nature is going to decide it's going to rain or the temperature is going to change. So there's a lot of variation. You've got to find that middle ground between order and a little disorder.
Yeah, but that's the nice thing. It's never pre-established. Of course, we have to follow the nature and the weather. And very often when I explain, when I speak about the vintage, for an example, and some questions are, why is it a very nice vintage? I don't know. It's because of God. Sometimes all the elements are very good, and the harvest is just a good one. And sometimes we are very surprised. It was a normal year. I'm speaking about the rain, the sun, and everything, temperature. And even if everything is just normal, the vintage could be great. So that's part of mystery. So, of course, we have to follow orders or lines, but sometimes we are also to play with the nature. So it's never fixed. So we have to play with, of course.
I love it. Go ahead, Deb.
Go ahead. You want me to do the next question?
Well, sure.
I guess we almost kind of covered this a little bit because Eric, you were born in nearby, and I can't pronounce this town. Yes. And you grew up so close to cognac. Was it always your goal to be a cellar master in cognac?
No. My goal first was to become enologist, true. And then with the enology, you could work worldwide. It could be in Chile, like in France or in Germany or in US. And then I was very interested, of course, to make something abroad, and it was Austria for me. So my goal wasn't to come back to get a job. The opportunity and the offer was that, okay, I become cellar master now in the Cognac Regulations. But at the beginning, it was to work in the wine industry or in the spirit industry. Yes, that's true. But to work in the cognac product, no, it's just by chance, more or less. Of course, I'm quite happy. There is no problem. My family is here, but it wasn't the goal when you are 23 or 24. You have only one idea in your head. It's to go somewhere and to travel. So my goal wasn't to come back.
And now, just for our listeners, and honestly for me also, because I will be the first to admit that I am very new to cognac. I think the only cognac I've actually had was in the WSET class. So can you just give us a little background on cognac, where it's located? Because cognac gets its name from the village that it is made. So can you give us a little bit background of where it is and a little bit of the history of that region?
So where it is situated? It is situated in the west part of France, very near from the ocean, 60 kilometers, so for 35 miles more or less, so quite near, and 80 miles north from Bordeaux. So in the west part of France, very near from the sea and the beaches, if some people are interested to spend some nice time here. And the cognac itself, the name of the cognac, take the name of the main small town that we have here in the vineyards region. So the product take the name of the town. Just to give some elements to understand how big is the region of the cognac. In terms of vines, we have 80,000 hectares. It represents roughly 12% of the total surface of the vines in France. And to give an example, if I compare with the US, the surface represents 20% of the total American surface in terms of vines. So it's not big, but it's not small.
Small, no, not at all.
Yeah, the Bordeaux it's roughly 100, so we are a little less. And the Champagne 25,000. So just to give an idea, we are three times bigger than the Champagne area. Champagne for sparkling wine, I guess.
Okay. And like, when did cognac become like so recognized? Like I think you walk someplace, you walk into a restaurant, cognac is a well-known name. I'm not so sure people understand, really know that it's the region also, but it's got this high quality relationship to it. So when do you think that cognac started its rise?
Firstly, the business of the cognac wasn't made or established by the French, but by the Dutch and the Anglo-Saxon people. It was at the time for the fleets and for the people. They have to drink something on the ships because the wine is not so stable in time. And they have the great idea to distill the wine into spirit, and then of course the spirit is quite stable in time. So it was made by the Dutch and the Anglo-Saxon. So what did they purchase the wine, they distill the wine, and then they import in their country. It's the reason why for decades or for centuries the British they store a lot of cognac in their warehouses, in their harbors like London, Bristol, or Glasgow. So that's the beginning of the history. And then year after year or decades after decades, the people, of course, they become more and more specialists and lovers about the cognac, and they have understood that the soils and the subsoil surrounded cognac are seen as the best because originally it was more on the coast. Near La Rochelle, west from here, and then the surface of the vineyards migrate to the east because the soil were better and better. And to be honest, since 1 century now, it's very well established, and the cognac, because the vines they are on the best soil, the quality improved a lot. And it's the reason why the cognac is very well known and very well appreciated as a very upscale legal product now. That is the story as a summary.
And there's a lot of I'm asking, are there a lot of regulations that how a cognac is made? Do you have a regulating body that determines what can and cannot be called a cognac?
Yes, it's a control appellation, like in some countries, but very, 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 I would say, very often in France for many different products. For wine, of course, for champagne, the Burgundy or something. So the cognac is the same. So it means that the vines should be in a very strict area. So the surface is restricted. The vines, the varieties, they are defined. The most important is Ugni Blanc, 98% of the surface. The rest is more or less for memory. So we have to distill. So we have vines. So you have understand where we are. So the limit they are fixed. Then we have wine by variety. So we do white wine, and the winemaking, because it's a white wine, is more or less the same than worldwide. It's strictly the same. So we try to do our best to obtain the best wine to be distilled. Then the distillation is made in a Charente or special pot still. So we distill twice. It's a 2-run distillation. And then we age in oak wood barrels. That is very strict and clear. We only use oak wood for our barrels. And the aging must be in the Cognac region. you couldn't age the cognac out of the region, even if it's in France, if you want to preserve and to keep the appellation of the cognac. The minimum should be 2 years. Of course, if you age for the 3 first years, for an example, and if you continue to do the aging elsewhere, it's a cognac. But at the beginning, for minimum the 2 first years, you should age your cognac in the cognac region. These are the most important regulation that we have to follow.
So technically, your grapes can come from outside the cognac region, but it's the aging that has to occur in cognac?
No, all the wines should come from the region cognac.
Oh, okay.
They should be distilled. They should stay. They should age here, and then you could send and to send somewhere, of course, definitely. But at the beginning, everything should come from here.
Okay. And then in terms of your barrel program, is it new? Is it neutral oak? Is there what do you use in order to age?
For in a large majority, and maybe more or less 100%, all the trees we select to make our barrels are for a large majority from France. In Western Europe, we have 2 different oak trees in terms of varieties. In America, there is another one. It's called the white oak. In France, like in Germany or in the Crimea or in Hungary, we have only 2. So all the barrels, they are made from these 2 different oak trees. Then, of course, after, when we have to form the barrel, when you have to burn the piece of wood, they are called the staves, to give the form, there is different, I would say, different ways. It depends on the style you want to give to your cognac. At Hine, because all the cognac Hine, they are very fine, very delicate, very supple. We don't chart a lot. The staves, we don't burn a lot. We prefer to burn in time than with a lot of power, because at the end of the process, we want to avoid the smoky impression and the smoky impact for our style. Some other houses of cognac, they prefer to burn a lot to get this smoky impression. So it's our work. And for the trees we select the fine grain oak wood, historically more used for the white wine of Burgundy. It's more or less something quite rare in the industry of the cognac, because the other people or the other houses, they prefer to use the Limousin oak wood. Limousin oak wood. Why Limousin? Because Limousin, it's a very near region for here, and in the past it was quite easy for the people to understand with a horse and a cart. It was just one day to get the trees. But now, we could go more north. But the trees in the north of France, they are fine. That's the reason why we prefer this one for our style. Some others, they prefer something else, just to introduce more about the quality of the wood itself and how it could impact the final product.
And now I'm not going to taste yet, but I just want to talk. We have 2 different types of Hine cognac here. We have the rare, which is a non-vintage, and then we have this Hine that is a 2010. So my question is, how is cognac kind of made in turn? Like, is this non-vintage one, is it kind of like a Solera? Not that it is a Solera system, but kind of that similar thing where you have your aging occurring so that it's always consistent year after year, like a Solera system where, it's constantly kind of regulating that it's the same every year? Or is it every vintage is different, and how are you getting that non-vintage cognac?
Thank you for the introduction, because you have more or less the answer. But anyway, in general, the cognac are blends. And why blends? Because our raw material is wine. And everybody knows that in the world, everywhere, you have good years and sometimes poor years. Depends on the weather. And so it's up and down. If you want to maintain the quality and to maintain consistency in time, the best solution is to blend from different years, from different location, from different district, from different grapes sometimes. But anyway, the goal is to maintain consistency in taste. So the cognac for 99% are blends. It's a big parallel, and it, more or less the same than with the champagne. The champagne, they are blends. Brut, you have also vintages. In cognac, we do the same. If a year is very good, you could select the cognac from only 1 year. In that case, of course, you put the date and you have the vintage. But in a large majority, the cognac are blends. At Hine, we are known and very well recognized as maybe the most important vintage maker, and since decades and decades, because it's in our DNA, more or less. We are, at the beginning, we were English. Hine is not French, you could imagine. So the founder came from the Dorset in England, and our relationship with UK is very strong since a long time. And it just to tell that we age all time some cognac in UK, and the cognac we age, it was in the past, were vintages, so the best of the best and the best years. So we continue to do, and the good example is this domain. I will introduce it a little later on. But anyway, you could find some vintages, but in a large majority, we have blends. And the blends are under the three denominations that everybody knows, the VS, the VSOP, and XO. And I could come back and explain more if you want.
So I want to go a little bit, since this is about the letter U, I want to bring in Ugni Blanc, which is the main grape that is used in cognac. So can you tell us a little bit about Ugni Blanc, like what the grape is like, how it grows? You know, every grape tends to have something that annoys the vineyard manager that they've got to really pay attention to. you know, Pinot, all of that stuff. So can you tell us a little about Ugni Blanc and, what the grape gives you as it grows?
Cognac is made from white grapes varieties whose maturity is characterized by a low concentration of sugar and a high acidity. Ugni Blanc is the most widespread, accounting for more than 98% of production. Colombard and Folle Blanche variety are also used. Medium seasoned, thin-skinned root variety, adapted perfectly to American rootstock, which date back to the Phylloxera era. The very pronounced acidity naturally ensure the preservation in the future wine, but also, above all, the quality of the future produce. The low sugar content results in a wine which low alcohol content and allows optimum concentration of aromatic substance after the double distillation stage. A very, very resistant variety to root.
Okay, and so is there, how Pinot, has, it's a temperamental grape, people always say, or, Cab Franc, we want it's an earlier ripener compared to, the Cabernet Sauvignon. Does it have anything that you need to pay attention to that you're concerned in the vineyard? Like, is it mildew prone? Is it, anything like that? Or is it just a great grape to be dealing with?
The most important thing, and Julien introduced it, it's very resistant to rot.
Oh, okay. Resistant to rot. Okay.
I mentioned that Coigny from the ocean. So it means that we have a lot of clouds, they come from the ocean. It means a lot of rain. Rain, moisture. Rain, mushrooms. Rain, disease, mildew and oidium. So that is the most important thing we want to avoid. And it's very resistant to rot because Ugni Blanc, it's a variety which come from Italy. The cousin of the Ugni Blanc is Trebbiano Toscano.
Oh, okay.
So it comes from the Toscano first. So you could imagine it's more in the south. So the maturity here is less than there in the south. So it's the reason why Julien said that it's quite acid and with low level of sugar. But it's that we need to make the best cognac because too much sugar means less acidity, and the acidity it's part of the esters, and the esters at the end of the day is the bouquet. So it's the reason why the Ugni Blanc is very well dedicated variety to make cognac. That is the history. But that is the truth. That is the truth.
And being so close to the water, you have that coastal influence. Do you have the fog that sets down?
No fog. We don't have fog, but we have a lot of rain. Not so much, but anyway, enough. And because it's less now the case because I would say the weather changed definitely. So when I was a child, because I come from here, from this region, it was quite often to dig the harvest late of October, and you could imagine in October it's quite late in the season, and we could have a lot of rain. And in that case, if you have a lot of rain during the harvest, when you crop, it means you could have rot. It's something we want to. It's the reason why the Ugni Blanc is very, very important. Less, it's not the case now because we start the harvest mid September, so it's less important. It's less an issue now, but it was before.
Okay, and now to maintain that sugar to acid ratio that you're looking for, are you, when you're walking through the vineyards and you're getting ready to harvest, are you looking for a range of bricks?
Yes.
You do call it brick? You don't call it bricks, do you?
No, we have other, but it is the same. It is the level of sugar. So
okay.
We don't have the same scale, but anyway. Of course, it's something we follow. We follow in our vineyards. It's the job of Julien. But we have also an organization for the cognac appellation called BNIC, who is in charge of more or less all the regulation and everything. And they have a research department quite high and very professional. And they do everything to help us, and they follow from more or less August to the end of September, and they pick some grapes everywhere. So and they could deliver the right level where we are and how we could imagine and when we have to start our harvest. So it's a good help. But it is necessary. It is necessary.
Wow. Okay. All right. And then Julien, so Ugni Blanc is actually locally known by Saint-Emilion, by the name Saint-Emilion. So what is the relationship between Ugni Blanc to Saint-Emilion?
Yeah, explain it.
It is called Saint-Emilion because it is said to have come to Charente via Saint-Emilion. The first Ugni Blanc vine arrived in France in Avignon, then in the Gironde, notably in Cadillac.
All right. So that's kind of cool. How do they know how it moved? Like, are you saying that it started there?
No, it's historically, the disaster. It was not. It's more the disaster of the phylloxera.
Oh, okay.
It's from USA, from America. The small insect. So, So anyway, more or less, all the vines disappears in Europe, so they die. So simple like that. And we have to finally to find the solution. And the solution was by grafting the European varieties on American roots.
Right.
So that we do, and we continue to do the same. And at the same time, the people, they started to understand and to have a look how the new varieties could help us at the time, because the people, they were looking for everything everywhere, because they want to succeed, and they want to I would say, to find the right solution. And they found also that the Ugni Blanc could be an advantage because it was resistant to rot. So they take some plants from the south of Italy, and they take it to the Cognac region throughout the town of Saint-Emilion. And I believe one guy say, "Oh, it's a Saint-Emilion," because he just heard that could be it's a plant from Saint-Emilion. No, it was because it was on the way. So it's a mistake anyway.
Okay.
Yes, it's disturbing a little bit, but there is no link with Saint-Emilion.
There is no link. It's a misunderstanding that just stuck. It's just
Yes, it is. Yeah. Funny.
Oh, okay. All right. I
It's a
get
funny
it.
story.
I get it. It's a great story. It's always kind of intriguing how sometimes something that is not true sticks around longer than something that is truthful. You know, the story sticks around much longer. Hey, I get it. All right. And then, so let's talk about Hein itself. So it's been a cognac house for over 250 years. So can you guide us through kind of a little bit of the history? You mentioned how it kind of began, but let's kind of, do a little timeline from there to now.
From the beginning, I wasn't born, so I could just reply. And anyway, no, but of course. Even the founder come from the south of England. Just I repeat, it was Thomas Hein, and he married here, and he gave the company his name, so it's called Thomas Hein since the beginning, more or less. And as he was English, of course, the relationship and the business was firstly made with UK. And then worldwide. So it's the reason why the House of Hein is established in Jarnac and not in Cognac. If you have the occasion to come here, and you are welcome. Anyway, the region of Cognac is quite small, and you have two not big cities, but two small cities where the houses of Cognac are. Cognac and Jarnac, 10 kilometers between, more or less, or 12, it means 7 miles, very near,
right.
on the Charente River. And why on the Charente River? For the history, because the Charente River before was the highway, because everything was made by boat for the export.
Right.
Is the reason why the Cognac success is important, because the Cognac region was in a way to the harbor. So Hein is established in Jarnac, and since the beginning we continue to export our cognac, and even if we continue to make cognac, to purchase, to age, to blend, and finally to sell to the consumer, we are also wine growers, and Julien is the director of the estates. So it means we are in charge of the product from the roots of the vine to the glass on the table in the New Jersey or in San Francisco. So no, but it's true. It's not the case for everybody, because for a long time the houses of cognac, they only do business. They only did business. They purchase the wine or the distillate from the wine grower or the distiller. They continue, they age, and they blend, and they sell. Just a few companies, more or less, are able to do the whole process like us. That is very important for the quality and for the consistency in time. It means the cognac we have in our warehouses, 10 years old, 20 years old, they come from our estates, and everything is done to follow our style. That's important. Of course, if you purchase from the trade, if you work with some brokers, sometimes you find that you need it, but sometimes less. So it could be difficult for the cellar master. Of course, it's the job, so I'm in charge of it in a way. You have to cook it, but it's less easy if you start to elaborate your quality first in line with your quality or quality policy. That's exactly we do at time. And the style of wine was established a long time ago. Wine in the cognac approach is maybe the most floral, the finest, the most delicate, the very soft, very velvet product. It's totally true. And if you have a look, something we could discover after, if you have a look about our cognac, they are quite pale, they are not so dark. So it means what? There is less wood. The wood is very important for the aging. Of course, we need wood because it's combination with the element of the cognac, of the distillate, and it's part of the bouquet and I would say and the complexity. But if there is too much wood,